Daddy so wanted to go to Egypt to see the pyramids. That was he was so we're going to go to Egypt, we're going to see it. And he never got to go. But it's time and grief.
I never realised just how horrible grief is.
It comes in these waves, and you just go, oh.
I guess by the time this airs, it'll be about 3 months since Dad passed, and this is the first time we're all talking about him.
Together.
Yeah.
It's weird, because you kind of lose sense of time. I can't.
It's been, no time and the longest amount of time in the world.
The world knew Ozzy Osbourne as a rock legend, but his family reveals the raw, unfiltered truth behind the man you never really saw. Sharon Osbourne sat in the softly lit living room, a framed photo of Ozzy leaning against the mantelpiece. The atmosphere was quiet, almost reverent, yet full of a profound energy that only the presence of memory can evoke. Sharon's voice broke the silence, gentle but firm, as she began recounting the moments that defined their life together. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, had lived a life filled with highs and lows, but for Sharon, the highs always outweighed the lows. He was more than just a rock legend, she said, pausing to take a breath. He was my partner, my best friend, my heart in human form. Jack Osbourne, seated across from her, nodded thoughtfully. He had always admired his father's resilience, the ability to rise from struggles that would have crushed most men. Dad had this way of making the impossible seem normal, Jack recalled, his voice tinged with a mix of admiration and grief. Even when the world seemed against him, he never let it defeat him. That's something I've carried with me my whole life. Kelly Osbourne, leaning casually in her chair, offered her perspective with a laugh that quickly softened into tears. Ozzy was chaos in human form, she admitted. But he was our chaos. He taught me that it's okay to be messy, to be flawed, and still be loved unconditionally. I wouldn't be the person I am without him. Her eyes glistened, reflecting the memories of a childhood both extraordinary and challenging. Sharon continued, her voice steady. Recounting the early days of her marriage with Ozzy, we met at a time when neither of us expected much. He was this wild, unpredictable man, and I was just trying to figure out life. But there was this spark, this undeniable connection. I knew from the start that he was someone I could never let go of, no matter what storms came our way. Jack smiled at a memory, nodding. Even through all the madness, the media, the ups and downs of fame, Dad always made us feel like family came first. That's something we'll never forget. He was our anchor even when he seemed like he was floating through life in a haze of rock and rebellion. Kelly added, and don't forget his humor. He had this dark, twisted sense of humor that could make anyone laugh, even in the most serious moments. He knew how to lighten the mood, even when everything around us felt heavy. Sharon shifted in her seat, her hands clasped together. Grief is strange, she said softly. It's not just sadness. It's remembering, it's celebrating, it's longing for someone who will never walk through the door again. Ozzy left a mark that can never be erased, not just in music, but in the hearts of everyone who knew him personally. Jack leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. I think what's most remarkable is how he connected with people. Fans, friends, family. He had this uncanny ability to make everyone feel seen. He didn't care about status or image. He cared about honesty, about being real, about living authentically. That's rare, and it's why so many people loved him. Kelly nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. He wasn't perfect, and he never claimed to be. But he tried. He tried for us. He tried for his fans. And in his own way, he tried to make the world a little brighter. Even in his struggles with addiction and health, he showed courage that most people only read about in biographies. He lived fully, without apology. Sharon's gaze softened as she recalled the quieter, more intimate moments. There were mornings when he would just sit and watch the sunrise, sipping his tea, lost in thought. Those moments were simple, but they were ours. He had this way of making ordinary life feel magical. That's part of the legacy he left behind. The reminder that life is precious, fleeting, and worth cherishing every second. Jack smiled, the memory clearly vivid in his mind. Dad always encouraged me to chase my dreams, to take risks, and to embrace failure as part of the journey. He believed that the mistakes we make are just as important as the victories. That philosophy has guided me, and I know it guided Kelly too. Kelly laughed through a sob, the emotion raw and palpable. We grew up in a circus, literally, but Dad made it our circus. We had front row seats to his world, and in exchange, he asked for our love and understanding. That's all he ever wanted, and all he ever needed. Sharon's voice trembled slightly as she spoke of her own grief. Losing Ozzy feels like losing a part of myself, but grief is a testament to love. It's proof that what we had was real, profound, and unshakable. His voice, his laughter, his presence, they linger in the corners of our home, in our hearts, in the memories that will never fade. Jack leaned back, reflecting on his father's impact. People often only see the public persona, the wild rock star, the outrageous performer, but the private Ozzy was tender, caring, and fiercely loyal. He taught us that strength isn't about bravado. It's about compassion, resilience, and the courage to be vulnerable. Kelly added, even though he's gone, I feel him in every choice I make, in every challenge I face. His lessons, his spirit, his love, they live on through us. That's the most incredible part of his legacy. He didn't just leave music behind. He left a blueprint for living authentically, passionately, and with heart. Sharon smiled through her tears, the weight of her words heavy but honest. We will celebrate him, honor him, and carry him forward in everything we do. Ozzy Osbourne was a force of nature, a man who loved fiercely, lived boldly, and inspired countless people along the way. We were lucky enough to witness his brilliance firsthand, and we will never forget it. Jack's voice softened, reflective. He gave us more than memories. He gave us lessons, laughter, resilience, and unconditional love. That's the true essence of a legacy. And Dad's legacy is immense. It's not just the music, not just the fame, it's the love he shared, the courage he displayed, and the authenticity he embodied. Kelly concluded, her voice quiet but strong. Ozzy was our father, our friend, our hero. And though we grieve, we also celebrate. We celebrate a life lived fully, a heart that loved deeply, and a spirit that will never be forgotten. He will always be with us, in every note of music, in every laugh we share, in every act of love we give. Sharon looked at her children, her eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. He was ours, and he always will be. That is something death cannot take away. That is something that will endure, always and forever. The room fell silent, the only sound the soft hum of the world outside, carrying with it memories, love, and the echo of a life that touched millions. Ozzy Osbourne may have left this plane, but the Osbourne family ensured that his spirit, his lessons, and his love remained vivid, tangible, and eternal. Ozzy Osbourne's influence on the world of music is undeniable, but for the Osbourne family, his legacy is far more personal. Sharon Osbourne reflected on the countless times Ozzy's creativity and passion left an indelible mark on their lives. He wasn't just a performer, she said, her voice rich with emotion. He was an artist, a storyteller, and a man who poured his soul into everything he did. Every song, every performance, every lyric carried a piece of his heart. That's something no one can ever take away. Jack Osbourne remembered late-night recording sessions when Ozzy's dedication to music extended beyond the stage and into the home. "I'd stay up and watch him work," Jack said, smiling at the memory. He'd be obsessed with getting every note just right, every word in its proper place. But even then, he never forgot to make us laugh. He could go from intense to absurd in a matter of seconds, and somehow it made life feel lighter, even when it was hard. Kelly Osbourne nodded, recalling her own childhood experiences. "We grew up with this larger-than-life figure, but at the same time, Dad had this incredible vulnerability. He'd share his fears, his doubts, and even his failures. That honesty shaped who we are. It taught us that it's okay to be human, to stumble, and to keep going despite the challenges. His openness was a gift we carry with us every day." Sharon spoke about the importance of family in Ozzy's life. Above all else, he loved his family. Fame and fortune meant little if he couldn't share them with the people he cared about. He was protective, fierce, and endlessly loyal. And he made sure we always felt that love. No matter what chaos surrounded us, Jack smiled softly. Dad had a way of turning ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. I remember our family trips, the pranks, the laughter that echoed late into the night. Those are the things that stay with you, the memories that shape you long after the stage lights fade. Kelly added, even in the toughest times, he showed resilience. His battles with addiction, his health struggles that could have defined him. But instead, he chose to rise above them, to keep creating, keep loving, and keep inspiring. That strength wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, and profound. Sharon's eyes glistened as she shared a deeply personal memory. "I remember one evening, after a long tour, we were sitting together, just the two of us. He looked at me and said, 'Sharon, every day with you has been my favorite day.' It was so simple, yet it captured everything about our life together. That love, that connection, that devotion, it's something I will carry forever." Jack reflected on the lessons his father imparted about perseverance. "Dad taught us to never give up, no matter the odds. He faced challenges that would have broken most people, yet he persisted. That determination, that refusal to quit, is something I try to live by every day. It's a reminder that greatness isn't measured by success alone, but by the courage to keep going when life is hard." Kelly's voice softened, tinged with emotion. "He also taught us the value of laughter. Humor was his superpower. Even when things felt unbearable, he could make us laugh until our sides hurt. That ability to find light in darkness is something I'll never forget. It's a gift he gave us and one I hope to pass on in my own life." Sharon leaned back, reflecting on the complexities of Ozzy's character. He was a paradox in many ways. A wild rock star with a tender heart, a chaotic force with moments of profound calm. That duality made him real, authentic, and deeply human. It's what drew people to him, what made fans feel a connection that went beyond music. He was a man who lived fully, loved deeply, and never apologized for being himself. Jack nodded. Dad's impact extended beyond our family. He touched millions of people with his music, his story, and his spirit. Fans felt like they knew him personally because he shared so much of himself, both the light and the dark. That's rare. That's a legacy. Kelly added, even now, when I listen to his songs, I feel him there. It's like a conversation, a reminder that he's still with us in some way. Music has that power, and Dad understood it better than anyone. He used it not just to entertain, but to heal, to connect, and to leave something meaningful behind. Sharon's voice grew softer, more contemplative. Grief is a strange companion. It comes in waves, sometimes sudden, sometimes lingering. But alongside grief is gratitude. I am grateful for every day we had with Ozzy, every laugh, every lesson, every challenge that shaped us. That gratitude is what allows us to move forward while honoring him. Jack reflected on how his father's spirit continues to influence him. Even though he's gone, I feel his guidance. In difficult decisions, I hear his voice reminding me to stay true, to be honest, to approach life with courage. That influence is priceless, and it's something I carry in everything I do. Kelly smiled through tears. And his love wasn't just for us. It extended to friends, fans, and even strangers. He had a remarkable way of seeing people, of making them feel understood and appreciated. That empathy, that connection, is a huge part of his legacy. It's a reminder that greatness isn't just about talent, it's about heart. Sharon added, Ozzy lived boldly, loved fiercely, and embraced life in all its chaos and beauty. That is the essence of who he was. And it's what we honor every day. His life wasn't perfect, but it was real. And in that reality, there was beauty, love, and inspiration. Jack's voice carried warmth and pride. Dad wanted us to live authentically, without fear or hesitation. He wanted us to embrace our passions, our quirks, and our dreams. That freedom to be ourselves, to pursue life fully, is a gift I will always treasure. It's part of him living on through us, Kelly concluded, her tone resolute. Ozzy was more than a legend, more than a father, more than a husband. He was a force of nature, a teacher, and a friend. And though we grieve, we also celebrate. We celebrate a life lived with passion, courage, and love. That celebration is the truest tribute we can offer, and it's what keeps his spirit alive. Sharon's gaze lingered on the photograph of her beloved husband, a smile breaking through the sorrow. He may no longer walk beside us, but he walks within us, in every choice we make, in every act of love, in every note of music we play or listen to. Ozzy Osbourne's essence is eternal, and we are honored to carry it forward. Jack added softly, his lessons, his love, and his laughter will never fade. They live on in us, in our memories, and in the countless lives he touched. That is the real legacy of Ozzy Osbourne, an enduring presence that goes far beyond fame or fortune. Kelly's final words resonated with conviction. He was ours, and he will always be ours. We carry him in our hearts, in our souls, and in every moment that life grants us. That love, that connection, that legacy that is forever. And that is how we remember Ozzy. Not just as a rock icon, but as a father, a husband, and a human being who lived fully, loved deeply, and inspired endlessly. Sharon closed her eyes. Taking a deep breath, letting the weight of her emotions settle. In remembering him, we honor him. In celebrating him, we keep him alive. And in loving him, we ensure that his spirit, his music, and his heart remain with us always. The room remained quiet, filled with a profound sense of presence. It was as if Ozzy himself lingered, a gentle reminder that life, love, and legacy are intertwined. Though he had passed, the Osbourne family's tribute ensured that his story, his lessons, and his heart would endure forever, touching not only their lives but the world beyond. The Osbournes, united in grief, in love, and in remembrance, embodied the lasting impact of a man who transcended music, transcended fame, and became a symbol of resilience, authenticity, and the power of love. Ozzy Osbourne's life, though marked by struggle and triumph, will forever be celebrated, cherished, and remembered not just for what he achieved, but for who he was, and for the indelible mark he left on the hearts of those who loved him. In the end, the essence of Ozzy Osbourne is not captured in headlines, albums, or awards, but in the moments of connection, laughter, and love he shared. Those moments, preserved in memory and heart, are the true legacy, a legacy that transcends time, loss, and even death itself.